All right, let's just jump right in. We're about to bust a huge myth today, because it turns out the whole idea of introversion, it's way more complex than most of us think.
I mean, think about it for a second. What image pops into your head? For most people, it's that classic picture, right? The shy wallflower, kind of hiding in the corner at a party. Or maybe that super quiet kid in class who never said a word. And yeah, that's one version, but it's just one tiny piece of a much, much bigger puzzle.
And this gets to the real heart of it. What if being an introvert isn't this single one-size-fits-all label we slap on people? It's not a box you're either in or out of. It's more like a spectrum. And figuring out your specific spot on that spectrum, oh, that is an absolute game changer.
So no matter what kind of introvert you might be, there's one thing that connects them all. And it's this concept of the social battery. You've probably heard of it. Extroverts, they get energized by being around a ton of people. Their battery charges up. For introverts, it's the total opposite. Socializing drains that battery, and you need that alone time to plug back in. But how that battery works? Well, that's where things get really fascinating.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's break down these 4 different faces of introversion. And I have a feeling you might be surprised by just how different they are from each other.
So first up is a type that sounds, well, like a total paradox. The social introvert. I know, it sounds like an oxymoron, right? But just hang on, because this one is actually super common and really interesting.
So what does this actually look like? Well, a social introvert can genuinely love a good party. They can be chatty, funny, even seem like the most extroverted person in the room for a while. But that social battery, it's draining, and it's draining fast. They really shine in a small, tight-knit group of friends. With their inner circle, they're super talkative and completely themselves. An outsider watching them might think, no way that person's an introvert.
And this quote just nails it. It's all about that trust. They'll give you their social energy, but only a select few get access to their true inner world. It's about quality over quantity, depth over breadth, every single time.
All right, next up we have type 2, the thinking introvert. Now, be honest, have you ever been told you're a daydreamer or that you're off in your own little world? If so, this one's probably going to sound familiar.
These are the people with an incredibly rich, vibrant inner life. They're self-reflective, they're imaginative, they can literally get lost in their own thoughts for hours and be perfectly happy. It's not that they dislike people, but the world inside their head is often just more interesting. Now, from the outside, this can sometimes come across as them being a bit aloof or disconnected, but that's a total misunderstanding of what's really going on.
Exactly. Think about how much energy it would take to try and explain that whole complex universe inside your head to someone else. For them, it's easier and more enjoyable to just live in it. They're not being rude, their mind is just fully booked. Okay, let's talk about our third type, the anxious introvert. Now, this is the one that probably lines up most with that classic shy stereotype we mentioned at the beginning. The defining feature here is a habit of overthinking social situations, kind of replaying them over and over. For the anxious introvert, social situations, especially with new people, can feel a bit high stakes. They might feel really self-conscious. And then afterward, the real work begins. They'll lie awake at night replaying every little thing they said, thinking, oh, why did I say that? Or was that awkward? Because of that internal chatter, they often crave being alone just to turn down the noise, even if they were just with their best friends. And this is a really, really important point to make. We have to draw a clear line here. Anxious introversion is a personality trait. It's about feeling uncomfortable and overthinking things. Social anxiety disorder, on the other hand, is a clinical condition. We're talking about a level of anxiety so high that it causes serious physical reactions, like a pounding heart, shaking, feeling sick to your stomach. If that sounds like you, that's way beyond just a personality preference, and it's a really good idea to talk to a professional. There's absolutely no shame in that. And that brings us to our final type, the restrained introvert. If this introvert were a car, they'd be one that needs a little bit of time to warm up the engine. They're thoughtful, they're reserved, and they definitely move at their own deliberate pace. Spontaneity? Yeah, not really their thing. A restrained introvert needs time to process things before they jump in. They think before they speak. They need a moment to get their bearings in the morning, and they need time to mentally gear up for a social event. Routine and predictability are their best friends. The one thing they cannot stand is feeling rushed. And this quote just says it all. It's not that they don't want to go out. They totally do, but they need that runway. That prep time is not a nice-to-have, it's a must-have for them to actually enjoy themselves. So there you have it, the 4 faces of introversion: social, thinking, anxious, and restrained. But so what? Why does knowing any of this actually matter? Well, it all comes back to that one core idea: knowing and managing your social battery.
As we went through those, did any of them just click for you? Did you think, wow, that's me? Maybe you saw yourself in a couple of them, and that's totally normal, by the way. Just recognizing your own tendencies, that's the first and honestly the most powerful step you can take.
Because here's what it all boils down to. First, you understand what you really need. Do you need an hour to warm up before a party? Do you need to leave after 2 hours, no questions asked? That's step 1. Step 2 is communicating that, setting those boundaries. And step 3, that's you protecting your own peace. This isn't about being difficult, it's about being smart with your energy so you can show up as your best self.
So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. Now that you have this framework, what is one simple boundary you can set this week to protect your energy? Just one. Maybe it's turning down a last-minute plan without feeling guilty. Or maybe it's just telling someone, hey, I'd love to, but my social battery is at 0 tonight. Because understanding your type isn't just interesting trivia. It gives you the language and the permission to ask for what you need. And honestly, that's a superpower.